Good afternoon, friends. It's another great day on the homestead. We are at that 1870s homestead, and my name's Rachel. And I thought to bring you guys with me to plant cucumbers. And I'm looking right now for my cucumber seeds because I just came out here and prepped the bed earlier, and then Todd had me stop to help him with something with the pigs. But I also need to pick strawberries, so we're gonna at least accomplish that together. But I really have to find my cucumber seeds. I know I had them in my pocket, and I'm guessing that they fell out either when I came to the garden shed or something. And I'm just not finding them. Oh, I don't think I have any more. Like, I mean, of course I could go to the store, but it's gonna rain in like an hour, maybe tops. So I really wanted to get those seeds in the ground before the rain. It's the very last thing I need to plant in the garden, like need to plant. There are other things I want to plant, like more pumpkins and stuff, but just because I have the space. But it's not an absolutely have to. Hey, I found them. You guys see over there on the weed mat? Yay, they must have just fallen out of my pocket. So here's the thing, you know, I'm growing wheat for the first time, and I swear this looks like grass. I know some of it for sure is grass, but doesn't that look like so much grass? I know the tall stuff is the wheat, but it is so tempting to get in there and yank it all out and thinking it's grass. But you guys want a quick garden update before we get to going? We're going to do this really fast because I'm really rushing against the clock. So all of the, let me move that bucket out of the way. All my whiskey barrels with flowers are doing phenomenal. So we have lots of bachelors, buttons, poppies, nasturtium, some onions. This one has a lot of borage, my echinacea. I'm not quite sure what this one's going to be, but it's going to be fun. I planted a bunch of new seeds. And then that one's mostly borage, poppy, and bachelor buttons. Okay, at my tomato row, look at the tomatoes, doing so good. And our marigolds are doing great, and our amaranth is doing great. Oh, a little frog, nice. I do have a little bit of weed pressure going on with the grass, so that won't take much to clean up. But yeah, our very first flower buds. So tomatoes are looking great. I just came out and, like I said, was prepping the bed for the cucumbers. And when I was out here, I counted one of my onions, and my onions are killing it this year. If I had time, I would fertilize those again today. It's been a couple weeks. But let's count some onion leaves together. I'm going to put you guys down in here. Let's see. Get these carrots and everything out of your way. Let me lower you just a little bit. So hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. So let me get everything out of the way. Get that little weed. Okay. So we have 1 onion leaf, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 on that one. And I want 11 to 13. Now, there was a couple I counted, and they had 11, and I was like, yes, they're so good. But guys, just look at those onions, and they're just, hopefully you guys can see, just starting to bulb up nicely. Take those little grasses out of there. They don't like weed pressure. Yeah, they're going to be some beauties, I think. So that's really fun. And carrots are doing great. So you guys can see just the onions and carrot beds. I really, really love planting onions with carrots. They just thrive off one another. Somebody asked the question, why do carrots thrive with onions. And I honestly can't tell you, because carrots are a root crop. You heavily feed onions nitrogen, which is counterintuitive to a root crop, but I don't know, just take my tip and try it once. And I don't fertilize the carrots per se directly in the nitrogen, and I just give them a balanced fertilizer. But they thrive off of one another. Okay, now my first succession of potatoes are flowering, great. The second succession of potatoes down here are doing great, not too much pest pressure. This little row of onions here, I got a couple grasses to get out, is doing well in front of it. Now these are not going to do as good as the onions in my raised beds. These will be smaller, first cooking of the season onions. And, you know, if I need onion tops, we like to do onion powder from our onion tops. I can always harvest these. My celery is doing really, really well. Again, you're seeing like the grass, that's normal, right? So if you're gonna have a garden, you are gonna have weeds. We were out of town 2 weeks in a row to the cabin and to Utah. So I haven't not been able to weed since that trip. So I'm gonna come back after today's rain. We're not gonna have any more rain, and I should have plenty of time the rest of the week to get caught up on weeding. So let's step back here and check on our beans. I'm seeing our first bean flowers. Nice. So still, even though the first bean planting is still a little bit spotty on germination, and something is nibbling at the beans. Not quite sure what, but something is nibbling at them. So yeah, a little spotty germination. You're going to see through here, kind of sparse. But then down here, look, they're already climbing up really, really well. And then down here, we did the red noodle beans. So these are the red noodle beans down here. And they're going to be challenged a little bit till they get up past these tomatoes, because they're kind of shaded right now. Then coming up here, this is the back section of the sweet potato bed. This is where I think I'm going to do more pumpkins, because I have enough space. The sweet potatoes, since we transplanted them, have gone through a little shock, but they're bouncing back. So I think that they just need some good water. And I have not hand watered at all. The broccoli, I have some more side shoots to harvest, because I did a big harvest before we went to Utah and picked all that. Oh, look at this broccoli bolted. Missed it. It happened so fast. There's a nice big head on that one. I know you guys probably can't see, but maybe I don't know if this camera will point through the lens, but that's about the size of my hand, but it's already loose. All right, we're just doing a big walkthrough. Okay, the pumpkins that we planted in squashes back here are doing great. So this is butternut squash and sugar pie pumpkin. And then our zucchini is doing okay. Like, this one's still just a baby, but we have one there, and this one's doing really happy. He's nice and healthy. Kale, onions, more onions. And then I don't think I ever really showed you guys the peppers in like full detail. But down this front row of the wheat bed is peppers and calendula planted. So the peppers are getting their first blossoms, and that'll be great. And then of course the strawberry bed, it's kind of smashed through the middle because that's the way I have to walk through it to harvest it. But we've done probably no less than 5 gallons of strawberries so far, picking them. So I'm going to get in here and pick what is ready today. I haven't picked in 2 days, other than me and the grandkids come out every time they're here and they pick their tummy full. And that's usually just around the edges. So let's get to the cucumbers. So I'm going to set you guys up, talk to you about what I did to prep the bed, and then we'll get to planting. Just going to grab my cucumber seeds. So what I did was, and you're going to see, oh, there's a big staple here, a couple random potatoes. And I have 1, 2 here, 3, 4, 5. These are 2-year-old seed potatoes that got left in the ground. I'm going to let them do their thing. I don't know if they hinder cucumbers, to be honest with you. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or so pea plants that were the only pea plants that were successful from the spring planting, because we got just a drowning of rain and peas don't like to be drowned. So I went through and I pulled in the compost and top layer of soil from this walkway and put that on top and like kind of made it, hopefully you guys can see, made like a mounded row. Like here's my hand flat, so about a hand high. And I'm just going to go through, I don't have a ton of seeds, but we're doing the National Pickling Cucumber and then the Albeit Alpha. I always say albeit. It's the Beet Alpha cucumber. And we're just going to plant as much as we can fit down this row. What do they say? Spacing 36 to 48 inches. Are you kidding me? No, we're going to go 12 inches apart. So, and then depth is a 1/2 inch. All right. And then I will just fertilize with an all-purpose fertilizer. Since I have more than, and just to be safe, I'm going to go back randomly through the sides of the mounds and pop some in there. I did that when I did my straw bale garden. I grew cucumbers out the side of the straw bale and they did really well that way. So I'm just testing the theory. This is just for fun. See, that's one thing. Seeds only have so long of a life. So if you're going to, like this is probably 3-year-old seed. There's no point in hanging on to a ton of seeds past their life cycle unless you have like a proper seed vault system. So you might as well have fun with it. Try to grow as much as you can or share your seeds with others, because you do need to keep fresh seeds on hand so that you ensure that you have success. And then we have this, it's just a chicken wire that is like coated with something. I don't know what, but it makes it nice and durable and non-rusting, I guess. And we'll just train them up to climb over this fencing here. And I've done cucumbers both on trellis and just creeping on the ground, and they both do well. I think on trellis, maybe I have a little less pressure from like mildew and things like that, but yeah, probably. And on the ground, you got to step over them and things like that. So I guess they both work. You don't have to have a trellis, I guess is my point. I do it both ways, and no rhyme or reason, just depending on what I'm using trellises for versus what space I have in my raised beds. It's a great thing to plug in if you've got open spaces. So I'm thinking right now in my head, should I go plug those holes where the carrot germination was spotty or the bean germination was spotty to plug in a cucumber? All right, so I did half of the row with the Beet Alpha, and then we're going to do the majority with pickling cucumbers, because you guys, if you've been following any length of time, you know that I absolutely love pickles. I eat them daily, and we're almost through our pantry stock on those. Do the same thing back here on these. Throw in some on the side. And if we have too many cucumbers, we'll just put some at the farm stand or share with our kiddos. All right, we're gonna just pop away, and I'm not gonna do a whole lot of talking here because I need to work fast, but out of the gate, look at that sucker. That is half a palm almost, and there is just, my strawberries are just doing phenomenal this year. And guys, this is, I think there was one thing that I wanted to tell you about strawberries. So number one, I always get asked, these are all star variety. And, you know, you hear that for strawberries, you need to replant every 3 to 5 years. Here's another potato. And I have found that not to be true. If you let your strawberries, give them a space where you can let them produce runners, and over time, like move your rotation or dig up the old plants. So that is what I've done. These are 8 years old, basically heritage strawberries. So I started with my original bed, you know, 8 years ago, and these have just grown and creeped and moved throughout my garden. And I know not everyone has that liberty to do that, but I have found it to be a great way that I don't have to keep buying strawberry plants as they age out. You know, this bed, these strawberries started in a raised bed, kind of where the broccoli and cabbage are growing now. And then probably 4 years in, we pulled it, 4 or 5 years in, we pulled those beds out, and I moved all the young plants, the young runners, on this fence row, and they grew there for a couple years. And last year they really migrated to this space, and this is the space we left them. And you can manage that by just pulling up the pups, the baby plants, where you don't want them. And then I think another question I often get is, how do you keep the slugs off the strawberries? And that is a problem for me just as well. Slugs and roly-polies, or pill bugs, if you call them that. And really there's two things I could say to that. You need to make sure that you have a healthy plant that's going to hold the berries up off the ground. A healthy plant will hold the berries, for the most part, up off the ground. And then harvest daily. So if you let anything rot, like this one's rotting, pull it out, because that just calls in the roly-polies to do their job. They're a decomposer, and they're not necessarily trying to eat your clean fruit. They're there to eat decomposing matter. And if a strawberry is in the way, they're probably going to eat it, or at least nibble on it. And then from a application, you can use something I use is called Sluggo. And Sluggo is a natural slug and roly-poly repellent, and it works well. So those are the things I use and tips I have to keep those pesky pests away. And this is just a back-breaking job for me. I don't know if strawberry picking, I like the reward of it, but I don't really like the job of it because it's quite hard on my back. Like a little strawberry jungle in here. I guess that's the other thing I would say is kind of, you can as a beginner gardener, learn about spacing and everything, but eventually you're gonna figure plants just like to grow naturally. And this is just one big creeping bed of strawberries that are thriving. There is absolutely no spacing whatsoever. And I'm having to make rows to walk through, sacrificing a few plants here or there to step on. Would they do better with proper spacing? Maybe, but I mean, I'm not complaining with the harvest that we're getting at all. All right, guys, we are in the last little section. I hope I did not just film that entire video horizontal or vertical. And I'm going to show you guys. This bucket's almost full, and it's probably a 4-quart bucket, maybe 6-quart, I'm not sure. Okay, 8-quart, I don't know, 8-cup, that's what I meant to say. Okay, and I have some random strawberries that are growing also up in the flower bed, front flower bed, so I'm gonna go up there and grab any of those, and then some that creep on the outside of this fence wall right here, so we'll grab those. But I think this will be another full bucket load by the time we're all said and done, and there's just so many. I would say I'm probably halfway through the harvest based off how many, like if you guys can see the white berries that are left. Looks like from that bunch, two have been picked. So 2 have been picked out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. So maybe a third of the way through the harvest that's yet to come. So that's pretty great. And so far I've made strawberry marmalade jam. Oh my gosh, delicious. I didn't film it. It was just, I think I had the grandbabies here that day and getting something done. But if I have enough, I definitely want to do more of that. And I'll make sure to share a video. It's a little bit more of a, I guess, kind of an advanced recipe because you're working with like boiling lemon peel first, and it's a few extra steps than just making strawberry jam, but it's worth taking those extra steps because it's absolutely delicious. And then Todd wants to freeze dry a bunch of blueberries for oatmeal and things like that. So okay, I'm gonna stop talking and I will see you when the video is all said and done. Ready? This is our bucket of strawberries. I'm gonna go in and wash them and then just put them in the fridge till a couple days later when we have another big bowl like this, and then I'll process them. But some other yummy recipe ideas is I made some strawberry Greek yogurt scones the other day that were to die for, and then I made a strawberry glaze, and all I did was I probably took like, I don't know, not even half a cup of strawberries, the leftover ones, and just pureed them and then mixed in some powdered sugar and some lemon extract. So good. Okay, but thanks guys for coming with me in the garden, and I wish you all the best. Happy growing and gardening where you guys are. All right, bye.